The necklace, Daniel Mercer believed, had disappeared with his past was hanging from the neck of a homeless young woman outside his Chicago hotel. He had just left Mercer Group's 25th anniversary gala when security guards ordered her away from the hotel's private entrance. Instead of arguing, she quietly split a boxed dinner with an older homeless veteran beside her. As she bent to gather his fallen belongings, a silver pendant slipped from beneath her coat. Daniel stopped cold. A thin, crescent-shaped scratch crossed its surface, the exact mark he had made while repairing Rebecca Carter's necklace 20 years earlier. He stepped into the freezing rain, his polished shoes splashing through shallow puddles. "Where did you get that?" he asked. The young woman closed her hand around the pendant as fear hardened her expression. "My mother gave it to me," she said. Then she studied his face and slowly backed away. "She warned me that if a man named Mercer ever recognized this necklace, I should run." Lily's warning frightened Daniel more than the necklace itself. Before he could ask another question, she disappeared into the rain, leaving him beneath the hotel lights with a name he had spent 20 years trying not to remember. By morning, a street outreach worker had passed Daniel's request to Grace Holloway, who arranged a meeting at her small Chicago shelter only after Lily agreed. Lily set 3 conditions: no cameras, no reporters, and no money. She sat across from him in a borrowed sweatshirt, one hand wrapped tightly around the pendant. Daniel told her he had been informed that their daughter had died shortly after birth and that Rebecca had left Chicago without saying goodbye. Lily's expression hardened. "My mother never said you abandoned us," she replied. "She said, someone made sure you believed we were gone." Then she unlocked an old phone and played a recording Rebecca had made weeks before her death. Her tired voice filled the room. "If Daniel says he never knew about you, Lily, he may be telling the truth." The first official record Daniel opened stated that his daughter had died shortly after birth. Inside Mercer Group's private family legal archive, he and Nathan Cole examined the sealed divorce exhibits and related medical records. But several numbered documents were missing. The remaining papers stated that Rebecca had delivered a baby girl who died shortly after birth and then left Chicago voluntarily. While her recording clearly spoke of raising a healthy child, Daniel felt the past shifting beneath him. When Evelyn Mercer entered the archive, she dismissed Lily as an opportunist and warned that reopening an old scandal could destroy the company's upcoming merger. Daniel asked why the family records were incomplete, but Evelyn calmly insisted that grief had confused Rebecca. Nathan remained silent until she left. Then he placed an original hospital registration ledger beside the infant death certificate Daniel had trusted for 20 years. The identifying numbers did not match Rebecca's medical file. After obtaining a certified comparison from Cook County, Nathan looked up in disbelief. The certificate belonged to another family's child. By the following morning, Lily had become the villain in a story she had never agreed to tell. A tabloid released edited footage claiming she had approached Daniel with a rehearsed scheme, and within hours, strangers were calling her a fraud. The catering company that had given her temporary work dismissed her. While reporters crowded the shelter entrance and frightened residents who had nowhere else to go, Lily refused Daniel's offer to place her in a hotel, warning that every favor would be presented as proof that she wanted his money. That afternoon, Daniel faced cameras outside Mercer Group and stated plainly that Lily had never asked him for a single dollar. His defense sent the board into panic, with Evelyn accusing him of risking the merger over an unverified stranger. Later, Lily replayed the leaked footage frame by frame and noticed an internal camera identifier reflected in the hotel's glass entrance. The video had come from Mercer-controlled security and only company insiders could access it. Lily stopped, waiting for powerful people to uncover the truth, and began searching through the life her mother had left behind. With Grace beside her, she opened 2 weathered storage boxes Rebecca had entrusted to the shelter before her death. Beneath unpaid bills and faded photographs, Lily found a safe deposit key, certified mail receipts, and a handwritten list of people Rebecca had tried to contact. With Nathan's help and the beneficiary documents Rebecca had filed with the bank, Lily was granted access to the box. Inside were ultrasound images, her original birth certificate, certified letters addressed to Daniel that had been returned unopened, and a flash drive wrapped in Rebecca's scarf. Daniel arrived as Lily connected it to Grace's laptop. The recordings revealed years of threatening calls, ordering Rebecca to leave Chicago, abandon her claims, and never contact Daniel again. Lily listened in silence until the final message began. The woman speaking knew private details about Daniel, the hospital, and the false death certificate. Daniel recognized the voice immediately, and Nathan later confirmed it by comparing the recording with archived company calls. It belonged to Evelyn Mercer. Hearing Evelyn's voice changed Lily's mind. She agreed to an independent DNA test on the condition that Mercer Group would have no control over the results. The test confirmed that Daniel was her biological father, but before Lily could process the truth, Mercer Group tried to turn her into a corporate recovery campaign. Acting under Evelyn's direction, the public relations team handed her a prepared statement and scheduled a televised reunion. They wanted her smiling beside Daniel. While reporters praised the company's compassion and ignored the records that had stolen 20 years from them, Lily pushed the statement away. "I am not your recovery plan," she said, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. Daniel looked around the room and finally understood that his company was treating his daughter exactly as it had treated Rebecca as a problem to manage. He canceled the press conference and ordered the team to leave. By evening, Mercer shares were sliding in after-hours trading. The board was furious, and Evelyn had called an emergency vote to suspend Daniel as CEO, claiming Lily was manipulating him. The truth was worse than family betrayal. Rebecca had been silenced because she discovered what Mercer Group was hiding. As a grants coordinator for the Mercer Foundation, she had access to the charitable accounts Nathan and Lily were now investigating. Rebecca had learned that money intended for struggling Chicago families was being routed through Shell nonprofits to consultants who secured improper advantages for a massive real estate project. When she threatened to tell Daniel, Evelyn blocked every letter, pressured hospital employees to alter the birth records, and warned Rebecca that the Mercer family would take her child if she returned. Daniel listened in stunned silence as Nathan spread the documents across the table. He had believed his sister was protecting the company, but she had protected her own power by destroying Rebecca's life. Then Nathan opened the final authorization file. At the bottom was Daniel's signature. He had relied on an executive summary prepared by Evelyn and approved the transfer package without independently reviewing the concealed attachments. Giving her the evidence she needed to make him appear responsible, Daniel could protect his company, or he could finally tell the truth that had cost him his daughter. Before the emergency board meeting began, Nathan delivered authenticated copies of the evidence to federal investigators. Evelyn then presented Daniel's signature as proof that he had authorized the legal transfers and demanded his immediate removal. Daniel did not deny signing the document. Instead, he admitted that ambition and blind trust had led him to approve papers he had never fully examined. He released Rebecca's recordings, the altered birth records, the security leak, and every hidden payment. Daniel announced that he was stepping down as CEO while the case was reviewed. The room erupted, but Lily rose before Evelyn could regain control. She told the board that Rebecca had carried the truth for 20 years while powerful people tried to bury it, and that this moment belonged to her mother, not to Mercer Group's reputation. The director suspended Evelyn's authority, and corporate security escorted her toward the door. As she left, Grace stepped forward carrying a sealed envelope. Rebecca had left for Lily to open when the truth was finally known. Rebecca's final secret was not another scandal, it was the life she had quietly built after losing everything. Inside the sealed envelope, Lily found evidence that her mother had created a volunteer network helping homeless young adults replace identification documents, find safe housing, and escape exploitation. The program had collapsed after Rebecca's death, but its purpose had survived. In the months that followed, Evelyn was removed from the board and placed under investigation for falsifying records, threatening witnesses, concealing financial misconduct, and participating in the security leak. Daniel did not return to the CEO's office while the investigation continued. Instead, he placed the proceeds from a portion of his personal shares into an independently governed trust. With Grace and Lily holding decision-making authority over Rebecca's rebuilt program, Lily refused the Mercer name and kept Carter to honor the mother who had protected her for 20 years. She also refused Daniel's mansion. Their relationship began with weekly breakfasts, honest conversations, and no promises they had not earned. The necklace remained around Lily's neck not as proof of wealth, but as proof that Rebecca's truth had finally survived.